Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, my former teammate and good buddy of mine from the Watertown Wolves in the FPHL, the Federal Prospects Hockey League, Marc Bottero. Marc's been one of the best guys that I've gotten to know over the course of the last year and a half. So I'm really excited to get Marc on. But he spent time in junior hockey throughout a couple different leagues in Canada before coming over to the Fed with the Watertown Wolves the last 2 years. So welcome to the show, Marc Bottero.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
Yeah, of course. How are things going in Watertown right now?
They're good. We're just have one game this weekend, which is nice. Kind of heading down to Hudson Valley. They got their rink all figured out there, so we're gonna have our first game there. Season's going well so far. Had a little coaching change recently, last couple months, so just getting used to that. But we're back on the right track here, so hopefully continues that way and have a good back half of the season here, ready for playoffs after that.
Yeah, absolutely. You just gotta keep going at her and keep the grind all
Yeah,
too well. So just gotta stay on the grind and have fun doing it.
for sure. Yeah, if you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. So.
Exactly. Like that's the best part of the game is just the grind, being with the boys. Like I know that's like when you came in like earlier this year, you're like I'm gonna be here for 2 weeks, and then you missed the grind with the boys, and you've been there ever
Yeah,
since.
yeah, I came in late. Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen with the lineup and if I was going to fit in, kind of thing. I was fresh off my surgery too, so that was another question mark. So I kind of just was told to come in, play a couple games, see how you fit in, see how you're feeling, and then go from there. And thankfully, it's feeling good. So still here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll jump into the surgery a little bit later and just like the recovery process, but like you grew up outside of Toronto, so what was hockey like over there? Like when did you start and just getting into the youth hockey over there?
Yeah, I grew up like in it's just like a little, I guess you call it like a community. It's called Tobico, so it's in Toronto. I mean, they have the GTHL there. I played GTHL my whole life. It's one of the biggest minor hockey organizations in probably the world, I would say. Like people come from everywhere and move to Canada or Toronto area and play in the GTHL. It's a lot of tons of NHL guys. Like it's the place to play kind of thing. So, I didn't play, I wouldn't say I played the highest level back in the day, but I was in the GTHL playing. So that was the best place to play. It was close to home, obviously. I lived in that area. So it was all me and my brothers, we all played in GTHL. So everyone I know has played in the GTHL too. So it's the probably the dominant powerhouse of the minor hockey there.
Yeah, it's probably good hockey up there, especially just to get into youth hockey and everything, and like everyone's coming to the GTHL. Like so, like what were some of like those favorite memories playing growing up?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was playing younger, I mean, I played a higher level when I was younger, and then as I get older, I just, wasn't didn't see that hockey was really going to be a forever thing. So I was playing more with my buddies, and then as I got older, I was like, you know what, maybe I should keep playing, and then moved on to junior. Thankfully, played a couple years junior, and then one day I was just kind of like reached out to some Fed teams, my old coaches, junior coaches, kind of new to people, and then I was able to get a tryout, and then here I am 2 years later. So.
Yeah, the rest is history, and you're
Yeah,
making an impact wherever you are.
absolutely. Try my best.
Yeah, but what was that process like to go from the GTHL youth hockey to find your way into juniors and really like push that space and be like, I want to play it even further.
Yeah. It's actually kind of a funny story. So I was playing when I was in grade 12, I was playing single A, which is like lower level. It's nothing crazy. There's single double A, triple A. I'm sure that
Yeah.
most places are like that. So I was playing single A with my buddies against my buddies, just playing like that. And then kind of just as I was playing, I was all my buddies were kind of like, oh, we're going to university here. And I kind of knew I wasn't going to be a university guy. I knew I was going to probably get a hands-on job somewhere. And I really wanted to try and continue playing hockey. So I kind of just trained a little bit. And then going into first year after grade 12, technically first year university, I just tried out for a junior B team in Brampton, which is like 20 minutes from my house. And I remember like when I told my parents, I want to give it a try and try out, they kind of were like, oh, okay, like, the guys on the team are, coming from AAA midget or like some guys are like drafted, like 16-year-olds
Yeah.
are drafted, getting sent down to the Goj. And I was like, oh, whatever, like it's $200, like I'll pay it and I'll give it a shot. My dad kind of laughed, was like, all right, well, these some of these tryouts can be cash grabs. So he's like, yeah, well, here's your donation to the team kind of thing. And then I showed up, I played well, and the coach kind of told me like, where did you play? Like, I've never heard of you. I was like, oh, I was playing single A. He's like, no, like, be real with me. Where were you playing? I was like, no, like, I was playing single A. That's why you probably never seen or heard or seen me around the rinks kind of thing. So I was able to work my way to a spot there. Played the year in junior B there. It was a great time. Like all the guys, the team was a lot of fun. It definitely was like a massive jump
Yeah.
from where I was because like there was guys on my team getting going up and down to the OHL and like I was playing single A the year before. So like it was just like complete massive jump. I didn't I guess it was like it was hard for me. I didn't do the best. The opportunity was hard because I was jumping such a high level.
Yeah.
So I definitely was it was hard to kind of keep going and I was in and out of the lineup sometimes, fourth line, kind of just playing a role. My points, points weren't a thing because it was just I was just trying to stay in the lineup type thing. So I remember just not doing the best points wise, but I knew I stuck on the team the whole year. Like people were getting cut and I was staying, so I obviously was doing something right. So that's my first year junior. So after I did that, I was like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me, which is kind of funny now that I think of that when I'm here now and playing still. So I went down to junior C with another couple of my buddies, and I was working. I'm a carpenter back home, so I was working and playing, and basically just going down to junior C. The coach kind of just said, "Here, like you're gonna do well here, just play." And I ended up being like over a point per game my first year junior C. And it was in junior C in Ontario, you're allowed to play an extra year. So there was 98 group in it, and there was like a bunch of OHL guys that kind of dropped down, so they play for their hometown. So like I was surprised with how good the hockey was still in junior C because there was a lot of like OJ guys dropping down. They obviously they had their reasons, and it was still really good, and I was able to produce. And then kind of COVID kind of happened after that. So I was hoping to go back and play junior A because I said, let's see if I can make something happen here, maybe some university or college. But then COVID happened, so I kind of got stuck. Didn't really play a year, and then that would have been my OA year. So then I was able to play an extra year in junior C actually the year after when COVID kind of settled down. And then I did very well. I was kind of a man playing a child sport at that rate. I was the size I am now playing against, 17, 18-year olds. So I was able to dominate pretty good and then played some senior and then decided to give the Fed a try. And here I am. So
Yeah. Just making the jump whenever, like every single year, going from single A to junior B. It's like obviously you said that's a huge jump. So like what do you have to do to really like stay in the lineup? Like what are you doing to keep yourself in the lineup and keep yourself on the roster as well?
yeah, I think, well, like with the limited, I wasn't playing a lot, to be honest. Like it was, I was getting maybe 10 minutes a night, maybe less. Just playing a role, doing what they wanted me to do, wasn't getting
Yeah.
scored on type thing. Just being able to be trusted when you get on the ice. Obviously, like being physical whenever I could. And yeah, like the jump was huge. So like my skating wasn't the best. Like you could kind of see where I was like a little bit behind. So it was definitely difficult, but I was still able to make it work. And, I still got some points, nothing crazy, but I was able to, when I had a chance, I was able to make some stuff happen sometimes. So that was good. But definitely was a big jump. So it was interesting, but I was still able to contribute somehow.
Yeah, you put that big body to use like we all know you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like what were some of those favorite junior memories and just being like going from junior B and then playing junior C for like the hometown team? Like what are some of those favorite memories over there?
Yeah, just like any hockey, really. Like the hockey's one thing, but it's all about
Yeah.
like your team and everything. I was fortunate enough to play with some of my good buddies from back home that I've known for a long time. So it was really nice to just be able to play with your buddies. Kind of, I feel like my whole life I've always played with people I know, and it was good that way. It was more than just hockey. The hockey was good because sometimes it gets stressful, but when you got all your buddies there and you guys go on a road trip on the bus for a couple hours, like it's a lot of fun. So definitely, the memories on the bus or in the locker room, and then obviously the games when you win a big game or something like that. It's always
Yeah.
those memories last a lifetime.
Yeah, and like that's what you miss the most when when like off season or like when you're coming back from that injury, like miss being with the boys and everything. Because like I remember we are talking like when we went to Coleman's like at beginning of the
Mhm.
season, you're like I just miss the guys and everything and want to do whatever I can to get back into it. So like that's what it's all about. It's just like the off ice stuff. Like on ice is one thing, but like there's nothing that replaces the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like hockey's, like I said, hockey's one thing, but when you live with these guys and you see the same faces every day, like it's just a brotherhood. So it's hard to let that go, but it's great to have too. So it brings a lot of people back. It drags you back into the war here and gets you back in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And like this past weekend, like our bus broke down in Michigan, and like and a 5 hour trip ended up being a 12 hour trip, and like those were some of like the best memories that you could make with your team. So like like even if you're in a bad situation with like a bus breaking down, like you got to make the
Yeah,
most of it.
exactly. Yeah. Sometimes it does suck, but it definitely there's
Yeah.
memories for a lifetime being made most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you go from junior hockey to make that jump into the professional ranks in the Fed. Like going like what did you have to learn going from juniors into the Fed that like made you successful in playing getting your first year in the Fed?
Yeah, honestly, like I remember my coming out of junior, I remember I had a chance to come down and I think it was Elmira. I could have went down to camp there and I kind of just wasn't really sure if I really wanted to do it. I didn't feel 100%, so I just didn't go that year. And then the year after, which was last year when I came here, I kind of just said, you know what, I'm going to really give this a try and see what I can do because I've had a bunch of my buddies, they play in the coast. A couple of my
Yeah.
buddies play in, American League or KHL. So they always said, like, if you want to do it, like, do it. You have the skills. Or they just said, like, train a little bit, give it 100% and see what happens. So that's kind of what I did. I just, in the summer, I was able to talk to Penner at the time and get a contract, a PTO. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to give this 100%. So was running every day. I was training because I knew I had the strength. I just needed to lose a couple pounds.
Yeah.
So I knew I just had to get on the bike and start running. So I was running every day, trying to get in shape in the gym on the ice. And then I said, if I'm going, like, I'm going to make it. Like, I'm not going to half-ass this. I'm going to go 100%. So I mean, doing that was the biggest thing was just getting in shape and being ready. Because once I got down here, the hockey part takes care of itself. I knew
Yeah.
what I had to bring to the team. It was just, being in shape and being ready physically to move up to that rank. Obviously, I'm a bigger guy, so I knew physically I'd be all right, and it's paid off so far. So that's about it.
Yeah. And like what like you said you were running over the summer and like really like getting like in shape. Like what was getting in shape like for you during the summer to go
E-
100% all in?
Yeah, like I had to shed like 30 pounds, I would say easily. And oh yeah, sorry, I don't hear me, but I had to shed like 30 pounds easily. So I was like running like, 5K 4 or 5 times a week, like as
Yeah.
fast as I can, just doing like the same loop, just trying to beat my time every time, like obviously laying off the McDonald's, that kind of stuff, because that'll sneak up on you. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, just and in the gym, like I knew I was a big kid, so if I just started lifting some more weights, it'll just all tone out, and then I was able to really dial it in. I was able to kind of get off work early and get on the ice. I was on the ice 2 or 3 times a week, 6 a.m., like half an hour from my house, and then I go to work the rest of the day. So I was like, I knew if I was going there, I had to be 100% in, and it worked out nice now. So it was worth it.
Absolutely. Like you're in your second year in the Fed right now, but like that first year was that transition, just getting in there and Fed's a different level of play. So like going from juniors to the Fed, like what you have to was like the adaptation like
Yeah, it was a jump for sure. Obviously, there's guys that are bigger than you, faster than you, stronger than
yeah.
you, so older than you, everything. It's a very physical league. Everyone's always looking to make a statement, try to get called up because you never know when you make a good play or you do something right, and then next day a team's calling from the leagues above. So you get that too. People are, everyone's finishing their checks. Everyone's fast. The skill's there for sure. It's the pace of play, and you don't have to be the best player. You just have to do the right things all the time, and usually you get rewarded. So I would just say, like, just keeping up with the play, doing the right things is the biggest thing, and being physical, because if you're not physical in this in leagues like this, is you're gonna get kind of walked over.
Yeah, exactly. But you put up 26 points in 38 games, so for your first year, like that's pretty damn good. Like what led to that success? Like what do you find like your role was?
Honestly, yeah, like I was really happy with the way I started the season. The first like 20 or 25 games, I was doing real well with the point side and playing top minutes and penalty kill power play, which was, I really liked that. Obviously, it was felt good to be
Yeah,
scoring and getting points for sure. And then, middle of the season, I started kind of dealing with my injury. So the coaching staff knew, and I was kind of on a more of a limited role. I feel was playing, third line minutes kind of just because I couldn't really keep up either at that point. It was kind of really starting to bother me. And then eventually at some point, we had to actually look into my injury and see what was going on. But it was my first, I would say 20 games. I was, when I was healthy, it was great. I really felt like I could, give this hockey thing a try. Once I made it back, I was like, we'll see how far I can run with this, see if I get called up type thing. And then unfortunately my injury started to kind of flare up, and then it kind of just eventually brought me down, and I was only able to play 30 something games there.
yeah, because you left in like what middle of January,
Yeah, like
early
early,
February.
yeah, maybe I think I left February, middle of February. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was when, yeah, middle of the season basically I had to tap out basically.
yeah, and you had to get hip surgery. So like, what was that whole recovery process like? Because like I remember you telling us it was like it was a bag. Like you were off, you couldn't put weight on it for a couple weeks or a couple months or something like that, right?
Yeah, I had to get like all my, it's called my labrum. I had to get my labrum repaired. It's like the muscle inside your hip joint, and get some
Yeah,
bone stuff like fixed up. And yeah, the recovery was 6 months with no sports. So I was basically, from when I left, I got my surgery in the middle of April. I didn't step back on the ice until I saw you in September, basically. So yeah, I was the recovery. It sucked, but obviously I feel better now, so it was worth it. But not doing any sort of physical activity for 6 months, basically. At 5 months, I was able to kind of start like going for like light jogs and stuff,
yeah,
but for 5 months at least I was kind of just walking around, just trying to get back. But I couldn't rush it because there was a lot of, if you rushed it and you got fell or got hurt, it could have caused a lot of complications, so I was super careful. So no sports at all, no nothing basically for at least 5 months. So I was kind of just buried away working when I could, and just hanging out, unfortunately, which would definitely sucked, but it was
yeah,
worth it now that it's all fixed up.
yeah. Did you have to do like a lot of like physical therapy for it when you came back after you were able to at least do some physical activity?
Yeah, I was doing physio basically from like the first week I was off the surgery. Like they want you to start moving right away just because it's your
Yeah,
legs, it's your hip. And if you don't start doing physical therapy, like you could really set yourself up for failure, like for your whole life, if you don't get all your joints moving again, your muscles, just because it is your lower body. Like you need your legs. And so I took the physiotherapy. Like they give you a whole booklet like on each week on what to do this week, what to do this week. So it's really planned out so you can come back better, for any reason, even just
yeah,
if you're not playing sports. It's you just got to do the physical therapy, because if you don't, then you could be in trouble for sure with the way it heals. It could heal a little differently if you don't do the correct physiotherapy. But I was doing physio basically from like the first week I was off, even like doing little leg lifts. Like that's like the first one. And then eventually, going up and down the stairs and getting on a bike, riding a bike slowly, that type of thing. And then eventually the point where I was able to put the skates back on and just kind of do a light little skate. So it was a journey, but it was worth it, that's for sure.
oh yeah, it's not. What do they say? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, that's for sure. I had to definitely tell myself that about 100 times, because it was definitely getting frustrated sitting at home just
Yeah,
looking at four walls.
yeah. I could only imagine that how it would get, but like you start small and then you end bigger, and like the end goal is putting the skates back on, and that you did in September, going
Hmm.
into the Wolves free agent camp again
Hmm.
this year just to get your feet going. Like how was that after not skating for a while?
Yeah, like when I came down for one day, whatever, during that free agent camp, just to kind of, see some of the guys. And that was like my first real time, like getting back
Yeah,
on the ice. So it was definitely interesting. I mean, my everything was rusty. Like, but it felt great. Like once I got back on the ice and I was skating, you can kind of I really felt that like there was a difference. Like the surgery definitely did fix whatever was going on. So that was like the biggest thing aside from hockey was, I got my whole life ahead of me here. I got to
Yeah.
make sure that this is if I get it fixed, like it better be fixed kind of thing. So, but yeah, getting back on the ice in free agent camp, like it was nice to skate around. Obviously, I was out of shape. I was sitting on the couch for 4 months or 5 months, so it was definitely out of shape. But it was nice to get skating again, come back to Watertown, see everybody. So
Yeah.
it was nice to come back for the day and then kind of go home, continue the physio because I wasn't cleared for another month and a bit for contact, but I could do skating. So come back for a bit, month and a bit, and then kind of figure out what the deal was here, if I could get a spot back or come back and earn a spot and be able to get back here.
Yeah. Everyone was excited to see you. I remember that. Like we went just chilled the entire day. I think we went to the mall after that, so that was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, always the best times. But you also played some senior before you came back with Orange Joe Blitz for a couple games. Like, how was that?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to come back and play another year in the Fed, so I kind of was there for a bit, gave that a shot, and it gave me a chance to kind of get my feet wet again with hockey
Yeah.
in a competitive state there. So it was good. I played a couple games, and then once I started playing and I got the skates back, it was like, we maybe need to do this for one more year.
And then you came right back to Watertown and you've played 14 or 16 games so far, 8 points, getting back into it. Like, how has the season been for you since coming back?
Yeah, like me and Penner, the old coach there, we had a good relationship. He knew my whole situation with the surgery. So when he brought me back, he said, like, we're going to ease you in. Like, you may not play a lot the first, 5 to 10 games, kind of just ease you in, which I was completely fine with. Like, I knew
Yeah.
that first I had to earn my spot back. And he knew that, throwing me into the fire wasn't going to do anything. So I was playing pretty limited minutes the first, 5 to 10 games. And then closer to Christmas, I started to feel a lot better. And then their new coach came in, and then I kind of started feeling good. I was able to, show a new face what I have to offer, and then get a bit more of an opportunity. So ever since then, probably after Christmas, I've been feeling a lot better and starting to get some points here and really start playing my game again.
Yeah, for sure. And like you're really getting the feet back under you. So I'm sure it feels amazing once you're like, oh, I feel like amazing now, and I'm actually getting quality minutes now too.
Yeah, the first couple weeks I remember like just being like, I don't know if this was a good idea because
Yeah,
just it was rough. Like I wasn't skating well. I wasn't, I couldn't wasn't getting no really not very many minutes. I was kind of just filling in whenever I could, and that was when it was a little bit. I was had a little bit of mental battle there, thinking like, maybe this is it for me. Like I don't know if I'm gonna ever get it back, kind of thing. But thankfully, I stuck through it, and I feel like 100% here, and I'm starting to get it back here.
yeah. So like when you're like, I think that's a good learning tip for like all athletes is just like the mindset and the mental part of the game. And when you're really down on yourself, like what are some ways that you do to like stay positive instead of just bringing yourself down more and more?
I mean, I knew exactly like what I could bring. So
Yeah,
it's not like it was my first year where it was like I was just trying to see if I could play in the league. So I knew exactly what I could bring. And I knew last year when I was playing, for a lot of that season, I was hurt. So that was kind of my biggest thing was, if I was able to do that while I was, pretty hurt in some sort of sense there, then what I could do when I'm not hurt. So that was kind of
yeah,
my biggest mindset was like I came back, like let me see what I can do here again, and kind of had a chip on my shoulder type thing. Where last year I kind of was the season was kind of taken away from me once I found out all the news about my hip. So I that's probably the biggest reason why I decided to come back was just because I felt like I had something to finish here and prove here just because of everything that happened last year with leaving early because of my injury and then coming back. That was my biggest thing is if I'm going to come back once again, like we're going to give it this 100% here and see what happens. And little couple months that it was a little difficult, I knew that it would get better, and for sure it definitely did. So I was happy that I didn't just pack up and go.
yeah. Just gotta keep pushing, and you know what you bring to the table, and everyone knows what you bring to the table. That's played with you or played against you. So you just gotta
Mhm.
just keep grinding, keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like how's the rest of the year been since like all the change and everything too?
It's been good. Obviously, we had a little rough point when we had the coaching change. Some guys wanted to, see go to a different place or play somewhere else, which is okay. Like, I mean, if it's up to them, it's their careers, whatever they want to do, go nuts.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna comment on that or whatever they wanted to do. But obviously, when we had the coaching change, some guys decided to, request trades or just kind of say, you know what, this is it for me. They didn't want to play for a different coach, which is whatever. That's all them. But yeah, the first couple weeks, we were getting new players in every week just because we were trying to fill some bodies before we could get some guys back from injury even. So the first couple weeks was a little bit scrambly, and obviously, people when some stuff happens like that, it's pretty crazy. So, but ever since that, I mean, we got a pretty solidified lineup here now, and we're just it's good now. We're all figured
yeah,
out now. We got Coachman now. He's got it all figured out. He's getting all the practices all good, everything, everyone's gelling again. So it's definitely a lot better than it was. So
yeah. It's definitely fun to watch from the other screen, but like
mhm.
it's especially to see the change and everything that happened. Like you found yourself being a co-host now for Taiwan on it with at Tully's with
Yeah,
shout out Trevor Grasby.
yeah, for
How's that
sure.
going? Must be
It's a good
fun.
time. Yeah, it's just something fun to do. Obviously, the other podcast there dissolved a little bit, so we just decided, yeah, we'll keep it fun here. I know all the fans love
Yeah.
to see it too, and it's just something fun. A couple 20, 30 minutes on a Tuesday is
Yeah.
no problem to just go there and just sit down and have a couple questions with some of the guys on the team. It's no issue at all.
Having a couple beers with the boys at Tully's can't
Yeah,
complain.
exactly.
Yeah, shout out Trevor Grasby for getting that started for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's all him. He's the talker.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But before we wrap up here, like what has been some of the things that you learned throughout your course in the Fed so far?
Honestly, just it's unfortunately it does get oh, 1 second here. There you go. Unfortunately it does. I would say the Fed it gets a little bit of a bad name, but it's a great place to play, especially if you're starting
Yeah,
out and you want to get into the pro ranks. I love my time playing in the Fed. Like it's a great time, obviously. There's some stuff that sucks. You got to get on the bus for a long time, that kind of stuff. But if you're a good player and you can make a team, it's an experience that like no other for sure. Everyone who's
yeah,
played in the Fed knows that it's a great time, and they all say good things. Obviously there's some bad stuff, but that's like anywhere you play. So it's a great league. I really enjoy my time playing here. It's really good hockey. Um, it's a good stepping stone for sure. If you think that you can
yeah,
do something in hockey, it's a really good thing to just give that a try and get on a team somewhere and just start playing. I mean, it's professional hockey. You can get your toes wet and then see what you can do. But it's been a great time. I've enjoyed every second of it both years.
yeah. It's definitely a fun league and like the stories and everything, the times with the guys, the bus trips, like everything is just awesome. Like it's a fun time. Like the hockey's good too, so
Yeah,
can't complain about it at all.
absolutely, 100%. It's one of a kind experience, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. But what's been some of your favorite Fed moments so far?
Oh wow.
I know it's
I
a
would say just
spotlight question
yeah,
right there.
yeah. I don't know. Honestly, like it's just, big thing too is having good group of guys aside from the
Yeah.
hockey, like I said a couple times already. It's just, you're gonna be living with someone or living with two guys. You're gonna be on the bus with them forever, basically. It feels like sometimes. So having a good team, having a good room is the biggest thing. And just
Yeah.
waking up every day, going to the rink and playing hockey as your job is just it's a dream. It's a dream, and if you have the opportunity to do it, then I would urge everybody to do it. It's just it's a dream come true. Whatever you're in the NHL or here, it's your job, and that's the best job in the world. So it's a great time.
Yeah.
The bus trips, everything like it's really there's not really a dull moment around here.
Oh
So
no, not at all. That's what I always say. There's shenanigans and stuff going on every single
oh yeah,
day. You're
yeah,
never bored in the Fed.
absolutely,
Yeah, but like with players looking to get to that next level, whether it be juniors to college, college to pro, like youth making that junior step, like what are some tips or advice that you have to get someone to the next level?
Yeah, I would say just, obviously if you have opportunities to go try out for any league, I would say just do it. Like there's the worst thing they could tell you is no or cut you
Yeah,
and then you gave it your shot. Like the worst thing you could do is not do it and then wonder, what if I did this? What if I did that? Because that'll burn a hole in your stomach for a while. So the biggest thing is just do it. Like you only got one shot at life. Like anything you want to do and give it a try, like go nuts, go give it a try. If it doesn't work out, at least you tried.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
that's for anywhere, any league that you want to try out for, junior, college, whatever. Like it's all the same, I think.
yeah, exactly. Like those, that's good tips and advice, and like you just gotta keep going. Like there's like if you're gonna go all in, go all in. Like give it
Yeah.
100%, like you said throughout the episode, and like you
Mhm.
don't want to live your life with regrets either. So if you have the chance, just go and do it.
Yeah, exactly. The worst thing they could tell you is no, or we don't see a spot for you here, and you say, all right, thank you. That's it, really, and just
Yeah.
move on with your life or whatever you got next planned.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is a great place to wrap this episode up. So, Botter, thank you again for coming on the show. I really
No,
appreciate your time, and you know how it goes. Keep working,
absolutely
keep grinding.
no problem. Thanks so much, Jack.